Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
Welcome to Talking Politics. My name is Robert Press, the host of the show. And as you can see by my official New York City press card, I write for the Bronx Chronicle. I also contribute to the Co-op City News and the Parkchester Times. The latter, like this show, is part of Muslim media. The expressions expressed here by myself, any guest or commentator that you may see come across the bottom of the screen, are those of those individuals and not necessarily that of Muslim media. Let's go to our highly viewed weather forecast. Today, the temperature will get into the upper 40s, dropping down as the sun goes down at around 9 p.m. in the middle of SmackDown. If you're a wrestling fan, if not sooner, the sky will open up with rain beginning to fall heavier after midnight till about 3 a.m., ending around 5 a.m. It's Saturday morning. Should be 1 inch to 2 inches of rain above what we've already have. So if you live in New Jersey and you're watching the show, just get to a higher ground. Saturday, the rain ends early in the morning with the temperature going up to about 55. But that's it for the warm weather, as at night it goes down to the mid-30s. Sunday, the cold weather comes in with the temperature not going above 40, going down into the 20s overnight. Monday, the temperature should not get above freezing and back into the 20s at night. It looks like either rain or snow in store for Tuesday. I want to get into some late-breaking news because the mayor and chancellor just had a press conference at City Hall to announce $30 million in federal funding to create New York City's first ever magnet high schools. 6 magnet high schools across the Bronx and Manhattan. And let me read right from the press release here that I have on my phone. The schools in the Bronx, there'll be 3 in there. There'll be inter-district magnet consortium, the Laboratory School of Finance and Technology, the Magnet School of Career-Connected Learning, includes grades 6 to 12, the High School for Teaching and Professionals, the Magnet School for Aspiring 21st Century Educators and Leaders, the Bronx High School for the Visual Arts, the Magnet School for the Innovation through the Visual Arts. There are numbers for these schools. The first one is Bronx 223, second one is Bronx 433, and the last one is Bronx 418. It does not say the location of the schools or the districts where they are. The Manhattan schools will be the Esperanza Preparatory Academy, Magnet School for Early College Exploration and Leadership, grades 6 to 12, MS, or it's Manhattan School 372, City College Academy of the Arts, City College Magnet School of the Arts, grades 6 to 12. I would imagine that this school, Manhattan 293, will be on the City College campus. And the final one is the Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis High School, STEAM Magnet School for Business Careers, Manhattan School number 529. I guess that Mayor Adams doesn't know that we already have magnet schools. They're called specialized high schools. You have the Okay, here we go. I'm back on, I see. Sorry for the, it was my fault. I touched something on my computer here. Okay, let's go into national tidbits. Hopefully my producer can get rid of that miscue by me. The U.S. led airstrikes on Yemen's Houthi rebels in response to their attacks on Red Sea shipping, filled the world's focus this morning on the year-long raging civil war in Yemen as tensions across the Middle East begin to rise. The FAA is temporarily grounding Boeing 737 MAX 9 planes after a door flew open in one of the cabins on an Alaska Airlines flight last Friday. The FAA says it's about 171 planes worldwide that it affects. And let's talk about the grueling Israeli-Hamas conflict that hit the 3-month mark Sunday. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken pushed forward with an urgent Middle East mission and fears the Tinderbox region could explode into a wider war, as we see what's happening in Yemen. And also in Lebanon, there is attacks on Israel by Hamas, I believe. Anthony Blinken was in Jordan and Qatar on Sunday again before traveling to Israel this week. It came as the Israeli military indicated it may be winding down the major combat in northern Gaza. They've also announced that they have found tunnels where some of the hostages may have been kept. There is DNA of some of the former hostages. And let's move on. The big news today, right now, is McDonald's is making major changes to its burgers. What can you expect when you go into McDonald's for your new burgers and improved burgers? Here are the changes coming to McDonald's burgers. There will be more sauce on Big Macs. The cheese will be meltier. You'll have fresher lettuce and pickles. 6 patties will be grilled at one time on the grill instead of 8. So that'll make it a juicier hamburger. Brioche buns will be sliced with a thicker bottom. Onions will be rehydrated after purchase. And sesame seeds will be further placed on the bun. The juicier changes will reportedly go into all McDonald's locations early this year. I can't wait to go to McDonald's. I haven't been to McDonald's in, what year is this? Probably before the pandemic. Former Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey suspended his presidential campaign yesterday, but he undermined his effort to stop Donald Trump when he sweepingly dismissed the Republican rivals during a hot mic movement. Christie's exit is jolted as the hot mic picked him up, saying unvarnished views of his rivals. Meanwhile, as he bowed out of the race, Christie was heard mocking Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis. His departure leaves the field with its most vocal Trump critic. Meanwhile, Republican presidential candidates that have left Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis traded harsh barbs yesterday in a debate ahead of the Iowa caucuses, battling for second place. GOP Chair Ed Cox released a statement in response to what happened at Brooklyn's James Madison High School, which Chuck Schumer attended while he was in school, that the students were being forced into remote learning because the immigrants that were being housed at Floyd Bennett Field were being placed into James Madison High School. That has been fixed. The children are back in school and the migrants are back at Floyd Bennett Field. Now, we have Donald Trump ending his trial with Attorney General Letitia James. She's gone after him. There's statements by Donald Trump I'll read and by Letitia James. Trump said this is partially election interference, but in particular, the person in the room right now who hates Trump is Letitia James. Donald Trump, as he referred to State Attorney General Letitia James in his closing arguments, he was given 5 minutes to say whatever he wanted in his civil fraud case that she brought against him. Donald Trump later afterwards held a press conference where he again blasted the judge and Attorney General James again, saying that he was the victim. Attorney General James, meanwhile, released a statement after the closing argument of Donald Trump in the civil fraud trial case against him. She said, before this trial began, the court ruled in our favor and found Donald Trump engaged in years of significant financial fraud and unjustly enriched himself and his family. Throughout this trial, we revealed the full scale and scope of the fraud. I am proud of the case we presented, and I'm confident that the facts and the rule of law are on our side. Closing arguments began yesterday, January 11th, in the New York State Supreme Court. There is now a rumor that should Donald Trump get the Republican nomination, as it looks, for president, that current President Joe Biden may be replaced by another candidate, and that would be former First Lady Michelle Obama. The Justice Department is ensuring that in its efforts to protect the right to vote, to prosecute election crimes, and secure elections in advance of this year's election cycle, and consent with longstanding Justice Department practices and procedures, the department is providing information about its efforts through its Civil Rights Division, Civil Criminal Division, National Security Division, and the U.S. Attorney's Office throughout the country to ensure all qualified voters have the opportunity to cast their ballots and their votes free of discrimination, intimidation, criminal activity in the election process, and to ensure our elections are secure and free from foreign influence and interference. Let me go to one thing. We have a special election coming up to fill the vacancy to former Assemblywoman LaToya Joyner, who gave up the seat on January 8th of this year. The special election will take place around February 13th, and the regular petitioning for the office will begin at the end of February, running into April. Now, there should be 5 elections this year in the Bronx: the special election for the 77th Assembly seat, the presidential primary, the regular June primary. You might have in August another primary because of congressional redrawing of the lines. So if those lines are redrawn, you'll have another primary in New York State. And then you have the general election in November. That's 5 elections for this year. Governor Hochul gave her State of the State address. And I'm just going to go over a few things that were highlighted. Public safety initiatives will combat hate crimes, domestic violence, and retail theft. Legislation will crack down on illicit cannabis storefronts. There'll be treatment for seriously mental illness. We'll provide with 200 new psychiatric inpatient beds, improved hospital discharge procedures, funding to expand medical health court. With kids and teens facing medical health crisis, Governor Hochul proposes a school-based medical clinic in every school that wants one. There is a new phase of long-term housing agenda that will focus on increasing housing supply in New York City. Thousands of new housing units to be constructed on state-owned land to continue the nation's leading climate policies while ensuring the clean energy revolution is affordable to all New Yorkers, and to set a bold goal to plant 25 million trees over the next decade. SUNY and CUNY schools will offer direct admission to the top 10% of students in New York high schools. She wants to extend the Second Avenue subway beyond up Broadway, and she wants the Interborough Express to move forward, among other things. She delivered this State of the State address Tuesday. Our new New York, our future, our agenda. And it includes 204 bold initiatives that are too many to read here right now. Let me go quickly before we get to our commercial, that the state Senate, in their first move in the legislative session, state Senate Democrats have again decided to start the year with a focus on election reform and voting rights. But State Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins had also reiterated that her chamber is committed to approving a package on housing tenant protections before the end of this year. We're focused on making affordable housing, focusing on making sure that tenants have protection, that things haven't changed, said Senator Andrea Stewart-Cousins. This year, Governor Hochul has offered few details on what her new housing plan will look like. And with that, I will go to my commercial right now, Mr. Producer. We'll get back with some little about Mayor Adams' reforms, what he's done to restore police and fire, as well as the sanitation and parks. And then I will get into a discussion on the city of Yes afterwards. So let's go to a commercial right now.
That there is a publishing company that wants to make life easier for you as a writer. This publishing company is called World Inkers Printing and Publishing. We publish in all different languages, and we're looking for writers of all genres, all formats. We're looking for scholars, ghostwriters, playwrights, poets, short fiction, novelists, you name it. We're looking for anybody who is interested in writing and the craft of writing to be in touch with us. You can reach us at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. With World Inkers Printing and Publishing, you do not require a lot of money to publish with us. Contact us today at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. Become a winner with other authors at World Inkers Printing and Publishing. Give us a shot. We will surely finish you.
Okay, welcome back. Now, as I said, Mayor Adams has restored funding for the April 2024 police recruit class and firefighters at 20 FDNY engine companies. That's 190 firefighters in total. The restorations will be reflected in the FY25 budget, which comes out on July 1st. This is being done by Mayor Adams as he announced that the projected cost of the migrant crisis has gone down by roughly $2 billion. He's also restoring funds to keep city streets clean and parks clean, and that will fight rats, he says. He announced that he will restore and maintain 23,000 of the Department of Sanitation litter baskets that were supposed to be taken off the streets, and he will be adding or he will be keeping the thousands of New Yorkers that get 6-month paid opportunities during the summer as parks employees, and that's about that for the restoring of the budget. Before I go on to the city of Yes, there was another train derailment. We saw one on the number 1 line in Upper Manhattan, or I should say Midtown Manhattan. There was a derailment in Brooklyn on Wednesday afternoon on an F train. It jumped the tracks. The Manhattan-bound F train derailed at the West 8th Street and Neptune Avenue stations at Coney Island shortly before 12:30 p.m. Officials said there were 34 passengers 3 crew members on the train. No one was injured. And the cause of the derailment has not been known yet. According, though, to the MTA, most derailments take place in subway yards or involve work trains. Agency statistics show that there were 6 derailments in 2023. There were 7 in 2022 and 10 in 2021. So far, this makes 2, I believe, and it appears that the collision between the 2 subway trains the MTA has released that injured dozens of people in Manhattan last week began with what has become a routine problem in New York City's mass transit system, pranksters pulling emergency brakes, according to the MTA, which will then take the train out of service. Let's move on to the city of Yes. The City Planning Commission had a info session on Tuesday, January 9th for 1 hour. It was a Zoom meeting where they said community leaders will pose questions based on community feedback about the City of Yes proposal. This event comes as the zoning initiative is being considered by community boards, and borough presidents. Now, there was Kevin Gussett, a small business owner and special projects manager for the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, Rafael Espinoza, executive director of the Freelancers Union and Nightlife and Entertainment proponent. Also, Laura Rothick, president of the Long Island City Partnership. And now I must say that these 3 people were the people who were asking questions from people to the City Planning Commission about the City of Yes economic opportunity. The only problem that I have with these 3 people asking questions, as I mentioned, their organizations where they're from, all 3 organizations have given feedback that they're in favor of the City of Yes. So how can you have people speaking in favor of the City of Yes saying that they're going to represent the people? You have to have neutral people, Dan Garodnick, who is the chair of the City Planning Committee, not people who are in favor of your proposal. So far, 4 community boards have already voted in support of the proposal, while 4 have voted to disapprove it. On January 24th, the City Planning Commission will hold a public hearing followed by a vote in the spring. And if City Planning approves the initiative, the City Council will hold a hearing to vote to approve or modify disapprove the proposal. Now, what the City of Yes proposal is to take away zoning rights from the boards. Now, Community Board 11 has put on people who are pro City of Yes. One of its members has pushed the City of Yes since he got on the board in September. They held a 2-hour and 38-minute meeting on Wednesday called by the City of Yes Committee. And I have a problem with that because according to the Community Board 11 bylaws, Article 5, Section 4 on page 7, the Community Board may, by resolution, establish such committees as it shall deem advisable. Any such committee shall have and may exercise such powers that may be granted to it by such resolution. The resolution may also provide for the composition of the committee, the method of appointment of its chairperson, who shall be a member of the community, which the chairperson shall be a member of the Community Board, its members, its purpose, its length of existence, and any other matters concerning its operation. Any committee established by such a resolution may at any time be terminated by resolution of the Community Board. Now, this is in the bylaws of the Community Board, of Community Board 11. And it appears that Community Board 11 never voted on a resolution for a City of Yes committee. I was going to bring this up at Tuesday's special meeting, which was only for, as the chair of Community Board 11 said, any discussion in the gallery session could only be on the items before the agenda, which were the 2 liquor licenses and 3 cannabis applications, which I scolded the Community Board for having a person come in for a cannabis license on Williamsbridge Road who said they had a lease in November. I said to the committee, the Economic Development Committee, that I called this owner of this property in December, and I said I wanted to open up a cannabis dispensary. He says, I'm not renting to any cannabis dispensary or store. Now, I also texted the city councilwoman, Christy Marmorato, who said that her office is right next door in 1925. This was 1927, the address in dispute. I said, you're going to have a cannabis dispensary right next to you. And she said, no. The landlord said, no, he's not renting. She got onto the meeting and she spoke to the Economic Development Committee meeting saying that, no, the landlord said to her, no, he's not renting to the cannabis applicant. The landlord himself got on there and said that, no, he's not renting to the cannabis applicant. However, from the Economic Development Committee, a motion was presented by Malcolm Gray, a member of Community Board 11, which was seconded by Edward Perez, a new member of Community Board 11, and it was voted for, and it passed so that the Community Board 11 at its special meeting would vote on a approval of a cannabis license, even though they heard from me, from the new councilwoman and the owner of the property that it wasn't going to go through, that there was no lease. As the general meeting came forward, they found out that the lease was phony, that it was written by the person, he signed a name, and one of the board members looked up the property and found that the person who spoke, Mr. Eric Bell, was the owner of the property and that it was true what he was saying. And at the general meeting, they voted down this proposal with only Mr. Edward Perez voting yes for a resolution. They then made another resolution that said they are voting no on the applicant, that they do not want it there, which was approved by the board. Now, as for the Committee of Yes, the September full Community Board 11 meeting has nothing on the agenda for a City of Yes committee or in the minutes, except in new business at the end of the meeting, Mr. Edward Perez spoke about the City of Yes with no motion or resolution for a City of Yes committee. In the October 23rd Community Board 11 full board meeting, the agenda under Chair's Report, number 3C, was City of Yes ad hoc committee with no motion or resolution in the agenda or in the minutes of the October 23rd CB11 full board meeting minutes. So there was no resolution for the City of Yes committee. There is no November 23 agenda on the CB11 website. When you click on it, the December 19th, 2023 agenda comes up, but the December 19th full board meeting was canceled. And in the minutes of the November 2023 CB11 full board meeting, there is no mention of a City of Yes motion or resolution. And again, at the January 9th emergency meeting of Community Board 11, the full board only voted on 2 liquor licenses and the 3 cannabis applications that were discussed. There was no mention of a City of Yes committee. I could not bring it up. So there was no resolution voted on by the community board, 11 members, to establish a City of Yes committee. So how was there a City of Yes committee meeting? This is the City of Yes. There are 18 proposals here to change, to establish anything from having retroactive storefronts, meaning that storefronts currently that are closed over 2 years can reopen. They want to simplify the district types, to change zonings, to allow for a lot of things. They want to enable small scale production. They want no more unnecessary loading docks, allow commercial businesses on upper floors, which means that you could have, if you live on the second floor, this is specifically for the second floor, but it allows for on upper floors, if half the floor is for office space and the other half is for residential, you could have a business on upper floors, which leads me to believe it's for a future New York State law. Right now we have cannabis, so you could have, what it means that you could wind up having a cannabis growing micro business next to where you live. Okay, that's what's happening now. And it could also, in the future, I believe that the state legislature will pass prostitution, legalized prostitution. So you could have a bordello next to you. Prostitutes, men coming in and out to go with the prostitutes. They want to, modernize the use. Now, Mr. Edward Perez was very, very instrumental in the way he described all of this. As I said, one of them is urban agriculture, which you can see here. And that would mean growing whatever you want, including marijuana, life sciences, which means that a hospital could open up whatever they want, nightlife, which will allow dancing and live comedy shows more broadly, which means that your local neighborhood bar could wind up having dancing and possibly a strip show. Means that, people go around these rules any way they can, as you see by the illegal smoke shops that are open. They want to have amusements, which means, again, in your local neighborhood, you could have an amusement store, which they are now banned. Now they're segregated to certain parts of the area. Home occupations, as I said. So there are 18 in all. Yes, this is very confusing. Okay, they want to promote better ground floor designs. The city does not want people living on ground floors anymore. They want it to be only businesses. They want to reduce conflicts with auto repairs. Well, with electric vehicles, you will not have that many gas stations anymore, or repair shops. They want to enable micro distribution, which means that they want to have a special area for deliveries, which means, again, less parking for you. They want to have a campus commercial business. In essence, what this means, at the bottom of apartment buildings, they want to have residential serving retail services. An example would be NYCHA and other residential campuses. Corner stores that will allow for stores on corners where there are buildings with no stores at all. They want to adopt spaces for industries like film and other things, and new loft-style zoning districts. Those are the 18 City of Yes proposals. And what it does, as you see here, there is a zoning map here, the zoning districts from C1 to C8. There are residential districts that run from C1 to, residential districts are R1 to R8, I believe, and manufacturing districts that have different codes. And then there are special purpose districts. For instance, in Community Board 8, you have a special nature area, and you also have a historic district. And in Community Board 7, I believe there is a little part of a historic district. What this does is the City of Yes will take away the power from the community boards to vote on zoning resolutions. And I'm going to close today's show by saying that if the City of Yes is passed by community boards, they will lose the right on zoning, as the City of Yes is being presented to change the current zoning laws that are in place to protect from overdevelopment and having certain restrictive rules that protect communities from certain businesses that will not that shouldn't be allowed in those areas. And yes, Grace, in Edward Perez's own words, as Grace just said, that the Mr. Edward Perez said that he has come on the board to clean up the board, and that yes, Ephraim, I'm right, that the committee never established a City of Yes committee by a board vote. So let me continue. Marijuana was legalized by the state legislature, and you see the problems that were created. Like I said, next will come prostitution, and you don't want to see what will become of communities if they lose their zoning rights. One of the City of Yes proposals is to allow businesses, as I said, in upper floors. And I'm going to stop right here. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank my viewers for commenting. Hopefully, the Community Board 11 will have enough sense to vote down the City of Yes proposal. They will vote no on it. I believe they have to vote very soon at the next meeting, which is January 25th, but at the special meeting, at the City of Yes meeting, of which there were only 4 members. There was Edward Perez, who spoke for almost 2 hours. There was Wendy Hewlett-Betts, who was voted in as the chair of the committee, and 2 other members, Eddie Aguero, and I forgot who the 4th person was over there. And there were 3 people on as far as community members. 1 other community board member stayed on for about 15 minutes and left. So how can you have a City of Yes committee with no community board members on it? Just 4 who are really pushing the City of Yes, and the others are not. So let me end it right here and say that there is a lot of work to do on Community Board 11. I'm not going to spill any beans right now, but I think there will be changes coming up very soon on Community Board 11. And thank you for watching, and I hope you tune in next week to the show.
Do you know that there is a publishing company that wants to make life easier for you as a writer? This publishing company is called World Inkers Printing and Publishing. We publish in all different languages, and we're looking for writers of all genres, all formats. We're looking for scholars, ghostwriters, playwrights, poets, short fiction, novelists, you name it. We're looking for anybody who is interested in writing and the craft of writing to be in touch with us. You can reach us at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. With World Inkers Printing and Publishing, you do not require a lot of money to publish with us. Contact us today at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. Become a winner with other authors at World Inkers Printing and Publishing. Give us a shot. We will surely finish you.